This is the crazy story of Gideon Kipkurui Rono, a Gen Z who led the infamous Fuliza gang and orchestrated the theft of cash for 49 million from Safaricom, living the high life as a car owner while pretending to be a farmer. Gideon, along with his crew, meticulously planned their operations in a hidden location, utilizing technology to execute one of the largest cybercrimes in the region, all while maintaining a facade of normalcy. Living a paradox, Gideon appeared at local markets engaging with farmers and blending in, all the while his phone buzzed with alerts. As Kenyans were grappling with the effects of COVID-19 and its disruptive regulations in 2020, somewhere in Bomet County, a young lad had just landed in his soft life era. That kid was Gideon Kipkurui Rono, a student from Egerton University, who after doing a heist had just secured his biggest bag ever on 20th of July 2020. The next day, Gideon walked into Nakuru Equipment Supplies cash in hand, ready to buy his first ever machine, a Bajaj Boxer KMFZ 526E. With the pride of ownership glowing in his eyes, he became the center of attention among his peers, sharing tales of how he came to possess this impressive ride. As the sun set behind the hills, Gideon and his friends celebrated this milestone, enjoying a feast together, laughter and joy filling the air as they captured the moment with a group selfie. But as Gideon looked out over the breathtaking valleys, he couldn't help but ponder what this new chapter meant for his future. With each ride, he felt an incredible sense of freedom, exploring the beautiful roads of Bomet County and connecting with the vibrant community around him. It was time for a thrilling ride around the block, where a young man had just discovered a more lucrative way to make money. 2 months after securing a substantial check on September 2nd, 2020, he returned to buy his second motorcycle, paying an impressive 90,000 KSH in cash. The seller admired the young king's flourishing business, unaware that behind this success lay a carefully orchestrated heist that had only just begun. With his new acquisition, he gathered his friends in a secluded garage, excitement buzzing as they plotted their next moves, unaware of the looming danger. A mysterious figure watched from the shadows, suggesting that not everything was as it appeared, and that dark intentions lingered just beyond their circle. With fervor in their eyes, the group studied a detailed blueprint strategizing their audacious next step, driven by adrenaline and ambition. Yet in the flickering light above the young man's expression betrayed a hint of doubt, a flash of realization that the thrill of the game came with its own set of risks. Cruising through the city's vibrant streets at dusk, the young man felt an exhilarating sense of freedom on his new motorcycle. Yet beneath that thrill lay a more sinister intent. As he mingled among a group of wealthy individuals at a lavish event, a sly smirk crept across his face, signaling his calculated move toward the next phase of his grand plan. Coming from Bomet County, Giddy had seen the success of the Mulot gang, but didn't like the constant hiding from the cops, so he decided to be different, like a treasure hunter. Giddy visited places in Bomet town where he knew lost ID cards were placed and acquired quite a number. He later bought a Safaricom Mobigo machine and used the IDs to register new lines that opted into Fuliza loans in May 2020. With each new line activated, Giddy felt the thrill of his elaborate scheme unfolding, yet he remained oblivious to the impending consequences. Little did he know, his every move was being watched, as authorities were piecing together the puzzle behind the mysterious rise in Fuliza loans. One day, Giddy received an alarming notification about a loan default. Giddy, a resourceful young man, harnessed the power of technology and a cramped bedsitter, registering 5 SIM card lines, using just one ID card, leading to an unexpected journey into the world of mobile money. After borrowing a minimum of KSH 300, which was transferred to his number, Giddy began an intricate system of acquiring cash by rapidly disposing of SIM cards, a method he repeated seamlessly for several weeks. By September 2020, Giddy's perseverance paid off as he amassed enough cash to purchase 2 motorcycles, a significant milestone, signaling his ambitions to scale up his operations. The only challenge standing in Giddy's way was acquiring more ID cards to register new numbers, a hurdle that pushed him to involve some friends, starting with Isaac Kipkamoy, a third-year student hindered by the COVID lockdown rules in Limuru. As Giddy and Isaac strategized through video calls, they pooled their ideas and resources together, eager to find creative solutions to expand their growing business, despite the challenges posed by the pandemic. Meeting at a cafe, Giddy and Isaac meticulously outlined their business plan, utilizing every piece of information they had gathered to devise a strategy that would allow them to acquire the necessary IDs for expansion. After hearing Giddy's plan, he was wowed by its brilliant design. He referred Giddy to a pal named Mr. Nelson Kamau, hoping to join them later after the borders were open. Mr. Kamau was a SIM swap OG who connected Giddy to their Destiny connector. Mr. Peter Gitahi, an IT expert living in Trans-Nzoia. Peter had access to the National Registration Bureau, enabling him to develop falsified identity cards that he used to register SIM cards with his 13 SAF Mobigo machines. After registration, he sold the cards to Giddy, whose only hustle now was to Fuliza, cutting operational costs by almost 50%. Having tasted success, Giddy invested heavily into expanding his business opportunities, eager to capitalize on his newfound wealth. With ambition fueling his drive, every handshake held the promise of collaboration. And Giddy knew that building connections was just as crucial as his business strategies. As Giddy took center stage, he shared his vision with others, inspiring them with the story of his journey. Together with Nelson, they bought these SIM cards, moved to Nakuru, and rented this apartment in Kimonyi Estate, which served as a HQ. They then roped in some pals, and the gang registered SIM cards into Fuliza ASF. By the end of the year 2020, money was overflowing design. It was time now to get bank accounts. On the 5th of Feb 2021, Giddy walked into Family Bank Nakuru branch, armed with Cash 1000, and opened an account. The ACC remained dull for 3 weeks, until 22 Feb, when it started receiving 90 deposits per day of money, ranging from KSA 22K or 100K from diff M-Pesa numbers. These many transactions to one account caused panic. BC, they knew the bank guys would flag them. To keep everything neat, they decided it was time for Dons in the gang to get accounts. On 23rd of March 2021, Nelson and Edwin opened family bank accounts. Accounts that only received deposits for withdrawals from the heist. Sometime in April, Isaac Kipkamoy joined them and opened an account at Family Bank on the 5th of May. On 26th of May, his account received 244 deposits of Cash 1K to 87K, which was then transferred in bits of 200K to different numbers and withdrawn. On 7th of July 2021, Giddy opened a Coop bank account with Cash 7500, and 3 weeks later he deposited Cash 1424 260 via his phone and 9 other different numbers. Money that was ushering them into their new status, as it was withdrawn on 4th August to add on his cash to pay for his new ride. A Subaru Forester KDD, which he used to travel to Mombasa with Isaac Kipkamoy the next day on 5th Aug after Isaac had received Cash 136M in his account. The purpose of this trip was to buy Isaac's whip, a Toyota Mark X, which he got from Pinda Corporation Limited. The purpose of this trip was to buy Isaac's whip, a Toyota Mark X, which he got from Pinda Corporation Limited. The purpose of this trip was to buy Isaac's whip, a Toyota Mark X, which he got from Pinda Corporation Limited. With the deal finalized, Isaac Kipkamoy drives off in his new Toyota Mark X, marking a new chapter in their lives. As they travel together, the excitement of new beginnings fuels their journey. Next in line to buy a Subaru Forester was Nelson Kamau. He bought his KDG 972S on 24th of January from Musif Motors, after receiving KSH 1.878M in his account on 20th of January. 2 days later, Jones purchased his Subaru KDG from AutoZone Motors after receiving KSH 1.3M. The last duo to buy was Edwin Kipkorea, who walked into Al Siddiqa Motors a month later on 24th February, and also got himself a Subaru Forester KDG 061R. He was followed by Gideon, who bought a Probox, and boom, the guys were now full-blown millionaires. However, pale Fuliza HQ's guys were wondering why these lines with loans were being switched off before making any single call. They reported to the cops, but it was too late because the gang was about to hit more millions. Story continues in part 2 of this heist. As the gang plotted their next move, the atmosphere was thick with tension and excitement. They meticulously analyzed their previous successes and prepared for bigger heists. With each significant transaction, they felt invincible, unaware of the growing scrutiny from the authorities. In a covert meeting, they crafted detailed strategies for their impending operations, hoping to remain one step ahead. Meanwhile, investigations intensified around the Fuliza loan schemes, with detectives tirelessly piecing together clues that could dismantle the operation. The thrill of the chase was palpable, and the stakes had never been higher.